Welcome to Website Design Made Simple, the podcast for busy small business owners who want a high performing website that converts and sells their offers, even while they're sleeping. Because you deserve to have a strategic and beautiful website that truly represents your brand and positions you as the expert that you are. I'm your host, Jenny B., web designer and creative director at Jenny B Designs, where we believe that your website is the one thing that makes you sales and builds your brand at the same time. Ready to say goodbye to a website that you're embarrassed to share? And hello to a money-making, personality-packed powerhouse? Let's head into today's episode. Hello. Welcome. Today, I have a fun topic for you, virtual brand shoots for a personality-packed website. Today, I am welcoming Anne-Marie Streel. She helps entrepreneurs with their online visibility by translating their essence into visuals, aligning their brand, and working out content that feels authentic, fun, and easy to sustain. And she uses a super unique tool, virtual photography, to co-create worldwide. When Anne-Marie reached out to me to chat because she knows that we both value personality in a website so much, I had never heard about virtual brand shoots. And in fact, I was so curious that I decided to hire Anne-Marie and try it out for myself. And I have to say, it was a super fun experience. She made it so easy, and I've actually never had photos taken in my home office, and I just wanted to get like a cozy, comfy vibe with myself as well as my home office, complete with my dog's bed and everything that it comes with, and just have some really beautiful casual photos taken of me. And so we did a session together. If you go to my resources page, which I'll link down below, I popped in one of the pictures from the shoot, and they all were super fun and pulled out the vibe that I was going for: casual, friendly, approachable, comfortable, and unlike more of a staged brand shoot. So it was a really neat experience, and I'm excited for you to listen to our chat about the importance of bringing out your personality with your imagery online. So let's get on to the episode. Hi, Anne-Marie, and welcome to the podcast. I am so excited to have you here.
Hi, thank you. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so excited to chat to you again because we just met last week and had a chat and we vibed instantly. And for me, that's really important, and I think that's also very important in business. And I just love how things just align when you click with people, and that has been such a game changer for me. So I love chatting. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about you and kind of your background and how you got to where you are?
First off, I'm Anne Marie. I'm from Germany, but I've traveled all around the world. I've been to 40 different countries and I lived in a couple as a digital nomad, 8 years in total, before the pandemic hit. And then, and with that, because I love travel and I love how travel, especially solo travel, really helped me find myself and push my boundaries in a way that I finally figured out I need them. And I also get to hang out with people who are good for me, and I get to choose my environment and the support system that actually nourishes me. So, it was really a self-development, self-discovery thing. And the most important thing were conversations along the way with random strangers. And as a German, that was one of the hardest things because we don't talk to strangers because that's crazy. And so when that did happen, and I learned nothing bad happens, and instead I get all of these amazing ideas and support and most random people who would just do acts of kindness for me. Like I started my business and I was afraid to talk about it. So they printed business cards for me. And then the next people referred me to people in London while I was in Australia. They're like, do a media kit for you. And this one's coaching me to pitch, and this one's doing, and all of that love helped me figure myself out and made it okay for me in my head finally that I'm this multi-passionate person, that I have all of these interests, but also have ADHD. And I follow them and I learn something about them and then I move on. And so I have all a collection of knowledge in anything visual and marketing, especially digital. Like I learned how to do photography, photo editing, video filming, video editing, video production, and then tie it in with branding and design. And during the pandemic, when I couldn't do any of the travel and meet any of the people and just sit in my room and work online, which, I did before, but suddenly it felt like the world was also more closed off. And I felt like I couldn't access all of this mindset of opportunities. And somebody told me about virtual photography. So I tried it. And the more I'm doing it, the more I realized this is a thing we need as an additional tool in our business toolkit. And most people have never heard of it. They can't conceptualize it. And I always like trying new things. And finally, all of the random stuff that I did suddenly makes sense in a completely new way that I approach business. Because from what I've learned about showing up authentically, all of these people coming in to help me and support me without wanting anything in return, but then building support systems with them and helping other people as well. I was like, virtual photography, you can do that. You can co-create with all of these amazing people around the world. They don't have to be even on the same continent. And I can do a photo shoot with them remotely. They only need their phone, and an app helps me connect with their phone camera. And that way they can tap into my creativity. Now I can use my resourcefulness and my adaptability to help people in the same notion where they can set up at home, in their home office, in their garden, on their favorite couch. You don't have to leave the house. And we do a photo shoot, and that way you have the content really fast. We have updated headshots, but also like content within an hour. The entire month could be like shot. You can sit on the couch, sit on the floor, like sit on a chair, like lay on the floor, like look at that ceiling, look at that flower, and just like snap, 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 right? And you're just like in the zone in your environment, and you see things differently from my perspective because you're like, oh, I've never really considered this corner to be cute. And I'm like, show me the frame. It's beautiful, because I get very excited. And the energy also translates across even that medium. And I've just finally realized that that helps other people just get stuff done because we are always in our heads, so trying to optimize, trying to make it better and more professional. In the end, we hold ourselves back from actually showing up. And then what I found is with the branding side, most people show up the same way as everybody else. You get the same stuff, headshots online on LinkedIn, and they're all the same. And none of them show me personalities because I would like to work with people and not experts who are so perfect. So like all of it makes sense for authentic branding, but also having content, but also connecting with the right kind of people and repelling the wrong kind of people. So that's the story.
So many things I could say about that. I really love your journey and how you transitioned to doing that virtual photography and how it's kind of it captured everything that you want to do. And what kind of drew me to you is you were able to bring out someone's personality and their uniqueness on camera. And that's so important to you. And I believe it's so important to creating a beautiful website as well that really reflects your unique brand personality. Let's take a step back, and you offer virtual photography. Tell me, like, because I was not familiar with virtual photography until I met you. Tell me just like very simply kind of what it is, like just like the basics of it and like how it works versus like a traditional shoot.
It's essentially like when you have your phone and you want somebody to take a photo of you, you give it to another person and then they just push the button, right? And that's what I do remotely. I can like with an app called Shutter app, there's also Close app. You want to try it? It's free. You can connect them virtually because, the camera function on your phone is an app. So with that app, we're connected and I can see what your camera sees. I can switch around the cameras, whatever is installed, the front, the back, the zoom, the wide angle in. So I have the control of the app during a session, not otherwise. And that way you can actually literally step back from the phone, which makes it look better. Like 100%. Most people are like, I feel how uncomfortable in front of cameras and taking selfies and whatnot. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, you would because you don't look like you could, like you do in real life. Because, we're used to filters and all of that. And there's these trends with, zoom out face filter where you see, oh, this is how people see me. Because we get this distorted version of what we look like in the phone versus in real life, we're totally different. And the mirror can't really show it to you either because you always look at certain parts, never the whole thing. Which is why photos by other people hit completely differently because you're not static first and foremost. Like in a selfie, you don't want to move because then the camera would shake and it looks not good. But with another person, you can play off with the energy. Like they can take almost candid photos of you when you're not thinking too hard. Like those beautiful photos of your loved one when they're like laughing. You're like, oh, this is beautiful. I love your soul. And you just take the photos because you're obsessed with them, right? And those photos are beautiful instead of the staged one. And so I prefer to photography because it is something you kind of release that power over to the photographer, but you don't also see what's going on because I use the back camera, the better quality. So you only see the back of the camera like you would with, giving the phone away. You have no control anymore other than posing. And then even that, um, I found it so much better than in-person photo shoot because usually people still get weird and robotic and awkward when there's this camera in their face, right? Especially in the studio setup, there's the lighting, there's equipment, it's daunting. You have your brain telling you to do better, be professional. And then you're not in the body, you're not in the moment, you're just in your head. And so when you don't see anything that's going on, it kind of removes that weirdness from your brain where you feel like observed and you feel like you're being placed a certain way because I don't want people to feel like they're my puppets when they're in front of my camera. I really want them to just play around and just have fun like you would with a friend. And so I learned that it's because you can't see me, I can't contort myself to show you what I want you to do. And even then, when people do that, it's obviously not natural. Both poses are not natural. They look good in photos, but if you're not a model, you can't really convey that well because you still have the body language that tends to pick up on that. And so I will tell the most ridiculous stories. And that way it becomes different and becomes fun. It doesn't feel so uptight anymore. But because I have all of this knowledge of how to shoot things, and I always have an upfront call of what the point is of the photo shoot. Because that's really important to me. I can just make pretty photos. But if you actually want the photos for your business, they need to make sense in your strategy, in your content, in your branding. So I need to know all of the details, which is where all of my random knowledge comes in. I see the bird's eye view and I'm like, okay, this is how we can work with those parameters. I'll take care of that. And you just have the weirdest fun in this photo session. And I will keep all of that in mind. You don't have to think at all. You just have to react and you have to be like, let out your inner child. So I found that it's also kind of healing. Like those photo sessions disrupt your flow in the day because we're just caught in the chore in the day to day, making the business like, oh, I had to make the content. But this time you're just like, you're not thinking of that. And so you're just jolted out of this. And that's the beauty of creativity. We often don't allow ourselves that as an adult, especially not in business. And that way I will just, come in left field and like shake things up. And then a couple days later, I clean up all the photos and send them back. And they're like, that's me. And they are just surprised that even though it was staged, it still looks very natural because you're you and not me telling you how to be you. You are naturally the most unique, which is you're nobody else but you. I think it's great.
I love how you said shake things up, but also you do have a strategy behind everything.
Yeah.
So, for example, like if someone was redoing their website and maybe we also redid their visual branding, their logo, their color. So they had this new brand vibe behind them. And sharing that with you, the colors, the font, and then sharing a little bit about what their overall goals are for the website. So you understand like the backstory of their brand.
Yes.
Then having this beautiful creative shoot where you can, take all these artistic liberties and create a beautiful picture, imagery that does capture their brand essence and be able to translate that on screen. I love that because I think it's so important to be unique online. Yep. That's how you, like you said, attract those people that you want to work with and detract those that you don't.
And like you said, if you wanted to have this whole rebrand, if you just want to invest in a new design for a website, copy, whatnot, and then you have all of these old photos and you just give it to your designer and like make it fit. Well, should they Photoshop different colors onto your shirt? Like maybe your entire vibe is different now that you found out more about yourself. And so like, yeah, you need a new photo shoot. And most people just don't want to do that because they have a certain feeling about it that they don't like, feeling awkward about it, sadly. And also because it's very sensitive. You need to actually invest the time, you need to get ready, you need to drive there, you need to like spend an afternoon at the studio, and then you need to drive back home, and then you need, like your day is interrupted, you don't have energy suddenly, it's raining. Right. So like all of these things, and then people just don't do it and they just give old photos. But they don't understand that photos, like videos, are the first impression to anybody meeting you. And that could make or break everything. And if like with any kind of museum, if the frame is wrong, the picture doesn't look good. So why would you provide somebody with a nice photo that doesn't work in the framing of the website and makes it all look off? Like even people who are not sensitive to design, they still find something off. I always say everything is connected and you just need to be mindful of how it all plays out. And while you think of all of these things, which is why I'm always liking the chat beforehand when I also do brand audits. So people can actually see how things are reflected back to them. We don't quite know how we land with other people. You just don't know if, I want to be bright and bubbly. And then people look at your website and they're like, oh, I thought you're very serious. And so having somebody mirror it back to you and just checking in with you, is this what you want? Can help you improve. And I am also of the belief that as business owners, we are also on a spiritual journey. We learn about ourselves. A lot of problems come up and we learn and we grow. And then we also realize, I don't want to attract those people. I don't want to be that person anymore. But then our business doesn't catch up at all. Then you're
Yeah.
still attracting the wrong kind of people. Then you're wondering, why doesn't this work? And so your business needs to catch up as you catch up. But as you create new content to show up and be consistently present online anyway, you could do that with your branding too. I offer retainer options where we do the talking and the photos every couple of weeks. You don't have to think about it, but also you can get those reevaluations as you go and then make adjustments lightly so it's not overwhelming, step by step. And also, again, with the strategy, and then you can see how it actually lands. And so if you have regular photo sessions, you can play around, which takes away the stress, which gives you more of this playful vibe. So you actually want to do more photo shoot and it pushes you.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like sometimes people wait too long. Their business goes along the same path. And they wait too long to either work with someone like myself or someone like you, where,
Mhm.
their business has changed, but their representation online has not. And so there's that disconnect there. And you want to always have that authenticity and bring out that personality. I love that you have that ongoing option too, to be able to have fun with it and be creative and kind of be there through the evolution process of someone's vision. That's really neat.
I love it. And I love seeing the transformation because I've seen it with myself first because I do a lot of self portraits because I get the most random ideas at midnight, right? So I do it on myself first and helps me stay creative. But then it helped me also like over time, I saw how much I actually changed by allowing myself to follow those ideas and not tone them down or like not wait for a better time because it doesn't ever come, right? And so I love when you actually see it side by side, very visual, because that's what I got from coaching when they say, like, this is what you said in the beginning, and this is where you are now, what you just said today. And you're like, oh, I didn't notice how much I changed until somebody points it out. And so this is the visual way, like in those diet pictures before and after, you actually, it hits you.
That's great. So if someone was interested in doing a virtual photo shoot, either they're redoing their website and they want some photos there and they need some for social media, how can they prepare? What do they need to know before they get in contact with you?
Well, first off, they should just get in contact with me anyways,
Yeah.
because, I have those free call options where I just talk with them to see what they're thinking. Uh, That way I can gauge if it's a good fit, what is possible, because there's limitations to virtual photography. That way I can figure out like when's the best time with the lighting, what room is really good. How is your Wi-Fi situation? Do you want to travel with me? Do you want to be at a conference and take photos? Because like you have me in your pocket. If you have a phone, you've got Wi-Fi, we can do it. Right. And so there's all of these different options and talking about it, we could just do like a bigger photo shoot broken down into different parts. So you can change outfit and locations and scenes, or you can try to do more different creative approaches because I like doing clone photography, which means you're in the same frame like multiple times because we're all multidimensional, multifaceted human beings. And so I like showing all of your different sides if you want to show different like moods or, hats you're wearing in your business in the same frame, which, nobody uses as a business photo. And I think they're very unique because I usually get a lot of people being really interested when I post my multi-me photos, and I also have the option of doing very creative artistic edits that mostly look very much like a portrait. So people can really see, especially women, how amazing they are to other people because oftentimes they don't even realize it. And so, I like talking with people about what they actually want again, so I can figure out how I can best serve them. If it's just a one-off photo shoot, if you want more support, if you want more creative ideas, if you want it to be just a quick content session. And so I always have to talk up front, and then we can hone down on the concepting shoot and then the virtual photo shoot. So yeah, that's how it works.
I think it's such a beautiful option for someone who maybe doesn't have time or is a little bit concerned about going to a traditional shoot or needs a quick turnaround or just wants something different that really kind of
Yeah.
reflects who they are. And so this has been great, Anne Marie. Can you tell us a little bit about how someone can get in touch with you if they're interested in learning more?
Sure. So I'm on all the social media, and I'm sure you put the links below. You can schedule a free call with me. So we have a coffee chat, a virtual one. And you can follow me on Instagram or TikTok, where I like sharing like portfolio or just some thought. Because I think it's really important to just show up as yourself in video to get people to see what you're like, which again is the same what I want people to do with photos, to find out what they're actually like. So you don't waste anybody's time. Follow me there. And I have a newsletter if they want to stay up to date on my shenanigans, because I always come up with new ways to do a project and then see how it works. Those are like ways to reach me with the call or social media or the newsletter.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anne Marie. I appreciate you sharing this with us. And thank you so much.
Thank you too.
And that wraps up another episode of Website Design Made Simple. I hope you found the insights shared in this episode valuable and takes you one step closer to creating a website that attracts more of your ideal clients and builds your brand. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a minute to leave a review on Apple Podcasts or a rating on Spotify. Your review will help us reach more small business owners like you who are ready to make more money with their website. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.